and welcome to a Cloud Developer channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to put some makeup on your Windows terminal. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and open up Windows Terminal application running as an administrator, and we're going to need to do that because we're going to be installing some PowerShell modules. And this is primarily for Windows developers that do use Git in their daily workflow. And these two modules are posh-git and oh-my-posh. So let's go ahead and get started. The first module install command is install module posh-git, and the scope is going to be current user. We're going to give it a second, and it's going to go ahead and install this module here. I'm going to say yes to all. And then the second module is going to be the oh-my-posh, so I'm going to go ahead and copy the command here as well. And also choose the yes to all option. And once you complete this, the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to update your profile in order to be able to import these modules every time you start up PowerShell. Now, in order to do that, you also have to change the execution policy and make sure it's enabled for something like remote signed. The current execution policy that's set on my computer is all signed. So I'm going to go ahead and change that, because without that you won't be able to actually run the import module commands and use the actual PowerShell modules themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and set it to set execution policy remote signed. And then the next command I'm going to run is I'm actually going to create a profile where I'm going to import the two modules and set the theme itself. So, and the way to do that is you just run notepad and then $profile, and it will open up Notepad and prompt you to create a file. So once you do that, you can go ahead and put in the following statements in here. The first one is importing the posh-git module. The other one is importing the oh-my-posh module, and then it's set in the theme that is named Paradox. Now let's go ahead and actually open up the new version of PowerShell window. And this actually, you can see that it changed by default. So now it actually has some icons in here. It doesn't look really pretty, and we're going to fix that right now. So the next steps that we're going to want to take is we want to actually customize the settings, and we do that by going to this drop down menu and clicking on settings, and it's going to open up the settings JSON file itself. And then here what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set some default options. Now, what do we want to set them to? And this is really up to you on what kind of fonts you want to use and some of the themes you want to use. But what I'm using here is a special font from Microsoft called Cascadia Code. And you can find it by just going to Google and searching for Cascadia Code. Clicking on this link here. And then if you go to releases, you'll be able to download the Cascadia Code font itself. Now, I already have this downloaded and imported, and it's pretty simple. Basically, in your downloads folder, all you have to do is just go to the TTF folder, and you can right click and then just install, and it will do that for you. So once you complete that step, the next option we're going to want to do is going back to the settings JSON file. All you have to do is just set the font face and the font size itself. You can do it in two places. You can either do it in this section here, which basically defines the options that are available down here in the dropdown, or you can also set it as your main default. So pretty much every window is going to start using that font. So this is the option that I actually would prefer. So in here, I'm going to use the Cascadia Code PL, and the font size that I'm going to use is going to be font size 14. So let me actually show you before I hit save here. And what you're going to see is notice that right now the font doesn't look very good. So I'll go ahead and hit save. And now it actually looks a little bit different. So let's go ahead and clear that. And you'll notice that there's no strange characters that are showing up anymore. So once you completed this step, the other thing to note is if you want a different theme, what you can do is you can actually just type in get theme, and then here you'll get a list of different themes that are actually available for you. So, and you can update or change to a different theme by going in the command prompt here in PowerShell and typing in set theme, and for example you can choose Zash if you want, and then you'll notice that it actually changed. But I do like Paradox, and so I'll stick with that. Okay, so this is one of the options that you can set, but there's a few other options that are kind of neat for developers as well, and let me show you that as well. So I'm going to go back to my settings JSON file, and in here what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate this particular option here just so I can have the default PowerShell theme that, or the settings that come with Windows Terminal, and I'll create a new one that's going to be customized specifically for me. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the name, so I'll just call it default or main PowerShell, and I'll change the command line so it actually doesn't output the default messages here, so it doesn't show you this default message of cross-platform or any other information about PowerShell. And the way to do that is I'll add the command of no log, or no logo I should say, and no exit. And you can take a look at what these different commands actually do by typing in PowerShell help and getting the actual help options or the documentation from PowerShell. So the other thing you're going to want to do is you're going to need to generate a unique GUID, otherwise it won't actually recognize this new entry. And the way to do that is pretty simple. You'll go into your PowerShell window and just type in GUID, and then colon, double colons, and then new GUID, close the parenthesis, and it generates a new GUID for you. Go ahead and copy that and put the value right here. And then the other option I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make it be my default loading profile, and I'll just paste the same GUID in this default profile section. So now every time I start up the Windows Terminal, it's actually by default is going to open up this main Windows PowerShell. So, and notice when I open that up, it actually doesn't have any of the other messages that used to show up before. So that's one customization, and let me show you a couple more. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually enable a color theme, and we're also going to change the startup directory as well as apply image background that's going to be a little bit transparent. So let's go ahead and actually change the starting directory, and the way to do that is you can add another option here, and that's called starting directory, and this is basically going to be the directory that's going to always open up a new PowerShell window with. So when I do that, and let me go ahead and choose this new tab, and you'll notice that now it actually goes directly to D drive. So the other option is we're gonna actually change the background, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually use a background image option. So, and that is called background image, and here we're gonna actually paste the full path to the actual image where we wanna actually pull the information from. So I have this saved just in my pictures, so I'll go ahead and actually grab the full path. Make sure that you have the double backward slashes, otherwise it actually won't work. And then the name of the file itself. And as soon as I hit save, you'll notice that the image actually showed up right here. Now this is a pretty bright image, and then if I try to list the contents, sometimes it actually can get in the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually change the background image opacity, and I set it to 0.2. So, and the option for that would be background image opacity. And as soon as I save that, you'll notice that it kind of fades into the background, so it doesn't pop it as much and doesn't interfere with the content. So that's another option that you can choose, and you can play with this value here based on what you like to see. And then the other option is the color scheme. So basically this is something that allows you to customize the different fonts and other settings that you can have as part of your actual profile. So in order to set that, you basically set the value of this color scheme to the name of this color scheme that you want to use. Now it in itself is not currently configured on this computer, which is what we're going to do next. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll down a little bit, and you'll notice that there is a schemes array object here, and you can actually get more schemes, and there's many more available online as well. So when I go to this color scheme in Windows Terminal, there's a few options that are available, so you can create your own as well based on what you like to have it show you. So, or you can choose from a list of existing schemes, and there's also different galleries that people have available. I have already something that I've chosen, and it's this blue color scheme, or it's called actually blue matrix. And what I'm going to do is basically just paste in that object and the definition of the different color values that I want to use for different colors here basically. So what you'll notice is the name attribute itself is blue matrix, and that's what it looks for, and then it will use the different values for the different colors that are defined and for the background and foreground. So let's go ahead and save that, and you'll notice that the actual look and feel changed now as well. So the colors look a little bit brighter on the screen. So that's basically how you change the look and feel of this particular Windows terminal. And the last option I'm going to show you is the ability to change the cursor shape as well as the color. And there are two more options that are called color shape and color cursor, or cursor shape and cursor color itself. So the way you set these is basically have these two values, cursor shape, there's underscore, and there's a couple of other options that are available that you can actually Google online, but the one I actually like to use is the underscore, and the cursor color is of a greenish tint as well. So I'll go ahead and save that, and now you'll notice that my look and feel changed. So that's pretty much how easy it is to customize your Windows terminal. And let me show you one last thing, and this is the reason why we actually installed the two modules before as well. And this is being able to actually use the git commands and the coloring, so that it tells you if you have files modified, changes basically the status and the state of your command prompt based on what you have done using git. So let me go to my clouddeveloper.io GitHub page, and I'll download a Git project here. So clouddeveloper.io, and I'll go ahead and grab this YouTube PowerShell codebase. And let's maximize this window here. So and I'll just clone this repository here and go ahead and go into it. Now notice that the command prompt right now says dev, which is the username, and then @dev machine, which is the name of the computer, and then the actual path of where I am in the folder. So I'll go ahead and cd into that new repository that just got get cloned, and you'll notice that I'm right now actually in the master branch. Now if I actually create a new file, you'll notice that the look and feel of the command prompt will change. I'll go ahead and create a new file, just put some content here, and if I list the directory content again, you'll notice that now I have a new file that got added. Now if I actually remove that file, you'll notice that now it went back. So, and there's a few different things that will actually end up happening depending on the state of your Git repository, which makes it a little bit actually easier and better visually for the developer to be in command prompt. So hopefully this was useful. If you liked it, please leave a like and a comment in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one. Bye.